The XC40 is the smallest Volvo that you can buy right now. Actually, wait, now that I think about it, it's actually not. The Volvo C40 is the smallest because that sloping rear roof inhibits some of the rear headroom as well as the trunk volume. So this XC40 is actually the second smallest Volvo that you can buy in 2023. And for 2023, it does receive a few updates to try and keep it top of mind. So what are these updates, and are they enough to keep this little Volvo ahead of the Audi Q3 and BMW X1? Let's go for a drive and find out. The XC40 is available with a B4 or a B5 powertrain for the 2023 model year. They both use a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and they both have a 48-volt mild hybrid system. That's the new part for the 2023 model year. It's not the type of hybrid system like how you would find in a Toyota Prius, for example, so it doesn't help drive the car just on electricity. It more so helps the engine with a little bit of power and improving the overall fuel economy. The B4 has just under 200 horsepower, but this B5 powertrain has 247 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'm not going to say that this is a blisteringly fast car or anything like that, because it just isn't, but the amount of power that it has is more than enough, whether you're setting off from a stop or you want to overtake someone on a highway, like right now. The engine picks up, it doesn't feel like as though it's huffing and puffing, and it does feel a little bit more responsive than the old T5 powertrain. Fuel economy is not too bad either. It is rated for 10.2 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. Here in Canada, the B4 and the B5 is only available with all-wheel drive. If you're watching in the United States, then the B4 is available with front-wheel drive, but the B5 is all-wheel drive. Both engine variants use an 8-speed automatic transmission, and although the transmission shifts are nice and smooth, which is what you want, they're not exactly the fastest. However, while the transmission shifts are a tad on the slow side, it's perfectly fine for a car like this. Most of its life is going to be spent on highways like right now or on city streets, not on a racetrack. This being a small SUV, it does feel more nimble than its bigger XC60 and XC90 brothers. The steering is sharp and precise, but a bit light on feedback. The whole car feels planted when going around smooth corners, but if there's a big bump mid-corner, the car shakes a bit as the suspension tries to settle the body down again. It can feel a bit uneasy if you take those corners at high speeds. But otherwise, the 2023 Volvo XC40 is a smooth driving city runabout with a decent turning circle of 11.7 meters. Additionally, the XC40 B5 can tow up to 3,500 pounds. The suspension on the Volvo XC40 is tuned for more comfort rather than sporty driving like some other brands. Small potholes and road cracks are easily absorbed by the suspension, even with the optional 20-inch wheels. But larger potholes can feel a bit harsh in your seat. Speaking of which, the front seats are very comfortable and provide excellent support for drivers and passengers of any height and body shape. The cabin doesn't have quite as much noise insulation as its bigger XC brothers. So the sound of the tires on highways is the most intrusive noise, but it's not too bad for a car of this type. However, the engine is a bit quieter than the old T5 variants when you're poodling around town. Under hard acceleration, the engine noise is much more noticeable and, unfortunately, it doesn't sound too good. On the plus side, the integrated starter generator provides a very smooth auto start-stop system. Inside the XC40, there aren't really that many changes for the 2023 model year. It looks pretty much the same as every other Volvo vehicle, apart from the center console, which is bespoke to the XC40 and the C40. There is quite a bit of gloss black on this center console, which will attract dust, fingerprints, scratches, smudges, and it'll look really bad after a few years. And there's also a little bit around the infotainment touchscreen. However, the one around the infotainment probably won't look quite as bad as the one on the center console. Unfortunately, like many other Volvos, the climate controls are integrated into the infotainment system, so if you want to change things like the temperature or the fan speed or the heated seats, for example, you do have to use a touchscreen, which can be a little bit more distracting than actually having physical buttons. Or you can use the voice commands, however, they're hit and miss. Speaking of the infotainment system, that is another update for the 2023 model year. Just like other Volvo vehicles that have been updated, it is now an Android automotive-based system. So it has Google Maps, Google Assistant, Play Store, and you can download a lot more apps through this infotainment system. It does also allow for Apple CarPlay. One other thing that I've noticed for the 2023 model year is that if the car is equipped with surround view cameras, like how this one is, and you put it into reverse, the first thing that you see on the screen is actually the backup camera. In previous model years, if it had surround view cameras and you put it into reverse, you would actually see the surroundings of the car, not the backup camera. Now, this isn't really that big of a deal because obviously when you're reversing, you want to see what's directly behind you. It's just that from all the other Volvos that I've driven over the past, I've grown accustomed to seeing the full 360 picture, not just the backup camera. So for me at least, it's going to take some getting used to. It might for you as well if you come from other Volvos. I don't know. Anyway, in terms of interior space, this XC40 has plenty of it up here in the front seats. I'm 6'4" and I have plenty of leg space and plenty of headroom. Granted, this seat is in its lowest position, but I still have good visibility out the front, out the side, and even out the back. And I can even lower those headrests through the infotainment system to have a little bit better visibility. The back seats provide just enough legroom behind my tall driving position, but my knees do touch the back of the front seats. The rear seats are a bit higher up than the front seats, so taller adults may find their hair brushing up against the headliner if the car is optioned with the panoramic sunroof. But there is undoubtedly more headroom in this XC40 rather than the C40. In the trunk, the XC40 B5 has 578 liters of cargo space with the rear seats up and 1,328 liters with the rear seats folded. The 2023 Volvo XC40 B4 starts at $42,250 Canadian. The B5 powertrain is an additional $3,500 Canadian or $2,000 in the US, and this demo vehicle came equipped at a price of $57,950 Canadian. The base or core XC40 is equipped with heated front seats, power liftgate, a 4-year Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play Store subscription, Apple CarPlay, power driver seat with 4-way lumbar and memory, dual zone automatic climate control, and parking sensors. Moving up to the Plus trim level adds features such as a panoramic sunroof, keyless entry with hands-free operated tailgate, front and rear parking sensors, leather upholstery, power passenger seat, and wireless phone charging. Upgrade to this ultimate trim and it'll come with features such as surround view cameras, heated steering wheel, adaptive cruise control with pilot assist, heated rear seats, and a Harman Kardon sound system. These features are packaged differently between the Canadian market and the American market. Another update for the 2023 model year is the exterior styling. It has a slightly redesigned bumper and headlights. These changes are so subtle that you have to look at this year's car with the previous year's car side by side in order to notice the differences. Overall though, I think it looks funky and stands out in a crowded crossover SUV market, but without being an eyesore. And finally, the XC40 is equipped with standard automatic emergency braking, lane departure warning, and blind spot sensors with cross traffic alert. However, to have driver aids such as adaptive cruise control and pilot assist, which is Volvo's version of lane centering, you have to opt for the ultimate trim. So overall, the Volvo XC40 is a pretty good city runabout type of vehicle. It's not the most sportiest to drive, but then again, Volvos are not known for that. They're known for comfort and safety, and this XC40 checks those boxes. Lately, Volvos have been on a bit of a roll in my opinion, and it all comes down to the new B5 and B6 powertrains. They just feel much smoother and more responsive than the old T5 and T6 powertrains. It makes the cars feel more refined and more luxurious because of that, and it's no exception with the XC40. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to drive the Audi Q3 or the new BMW X1, so I can't say how those compare against the XC40. But if you are considering this as your next vehicle, I think that you will be pleased with your purchase or lease. And if you'd like to know more about this 2023 Volvo XC40, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you in the next one.